Hey, what's up? Good afternoon to all of you guys. We're gonna go into this recap here on this trade on GNPC stock that we were watching since the pre-market hours. I posted it on Twitter on the early day today. Let me try to show you real quick here. This is when I posted that these are the stocks that I was going to be paying attention to today, right? And as you notice here, the last one is GNPX. I had it on a secondary window, to be honest, just because I thought that it was really decent. Also, BLNK was just ramping up this morning, but they had no follow through, right? And we also had this stock here, CGC and DAO, which is the stock that started to go upwards this morning. You see it ramping up here today, and looking at the daily, we just had a reversal. But I was talking about this, and this is the stock that I sent out on the weekly watch list last weekend, the first day that it ramped up here. This second day I missed the opportunity, and I was actually looking for a pullback on this day. Didn't work out for me because I was not available that day, but the reality of it all is that it really did work out okay for the people that was able to take advantage of this stock, this move. Just a quick reminder, during this weekend, tomorrow, which today's Friday, I'm gonna be sending out the new weekly watch list with different opportunities. So if you want to receive that information, just go over to traderscolony.com and create your free account. That way you will be able to receive that watch list with opportunities for swing trades and day trades. So I recommend you do that if you want to take care of, want to take an opportunity there. It might end up being a good thing for you. So we're rolling out a lot of things, and new market data and everything else. We're changing the design on the side. We're doing a lot of things this week. But we're gonna run into GNPX real quick here. I started to ramp up in the pre-market hours, and if you look at back here, so since yesterday this thing was moving, so I started to pay attention to it, and he had a decent opportunity here, especially at the market open when we had the second green candle right out of the gates being 375. I pulled the daily and I went back to see what was going on the daily, and I noticed this red candle here with a really huge range from 375. That was actually that point, the actual high that was getting a little bit of resistance right here, and this range to $6.67 on the daily, right? So we had a decent range there. I pulled that up information to make sure that I was going to have that info, and I was going to be able to take a look at what are the ranges that we were having, because I like to base my trades on the longer time frame to see what's going to happen, and look at the daily and then try to narrow it down on the 15 and try to find then the entries using the 1 minute and the 5 minutes. So I like to set up this trade basically using levels of support and resistance, key levels of support and resistance, looking at how far we can stretch it out on the daily, and then narrow it down to gotta get it squeezed in for a nice day trade based on the 15 minutes. But I want to know how far we can stretch this thing out based on the daily chart, and then I'll try to find an entry on the 5 or the 1. And right here you can see on the 1, when we had that 375 resistance, we had this little pullback here, and that gave me a little bit of time to actually look at this thing because it was hanging around here. If you see this candle, that was the pullback. I started to come right back up here, and at the break 375, then I was able to take a stab, and well, then you notice here that this thing came back. But I was looking at the 375 when he pulled back, that he just had all the way down to 376. So I noticed that prior resistance became support here, and he had a little spike that went higher to $4.20 on this candle. So using those the data here on this 1 minute candles, we can see that we were printing on a small pennant formation right here in the 1 minute time frame that became a bear trap pattern. So there were a couple of people that sent out orders, and obviously myself included. I was waiting for the breakout of this flag to the upside, but he broke to the downside. Now, based on what I had, that 375 was prior resistance that became support. I was basing this trade on the low here of this candle, 379, and also this support that now was prior resistance, now it's support. So if it had broken under this thing, then I would have bailed out. But I have been talking about bear trap formations many times over during this week. And when we had that, breakdown, I was still gonna give it time because I figured, hey, there's a lot of people that might be shaking out of their positions, and the market makers can pick up their shares on a discount and then run with them. Since this thing didn't tap the prior support, it rolled over and it had this ramp up. As you notice here in this doji, there were a lot of people sending out orders to get out because this candle broke the prior high of this candle. So if a shorts were basing this trade to the short, breaking down here or the flag on the high of 420, but it didn't work out because he got to 425 right here, right? So I guess a lot of shorts started to send their orders to get out, and you had a lot of congestion in this 1 minute candle right here. There were a lot of orders being going through, and this is why we have this nice stepper right here where we had this nice squeeze, because the short were squeezed here, they would getting out of their positions because the pattern actually didn't work for the breakdown of this pattern here when it broke the prior high on this flag. The flagpole right here had a squeeze, and he moved really higher. Now I was able to to get in and accumulate not the whole 75-cent move, because from 375 I went all the way to 450. That was around this candle right here, 445 and 450. For you guys that were on the stream, you guys know that I was talking about that. I was sending orders by quarters while it was moving higher, and I started saying it's time to get paid, it's time to get paid, it's time to get out. So I left a lot on the table because this thing went up to a high of 497 before it had this pullback, but I was able to get a nice portion of that 75-cent move and stretch it out to the upside. I didn't take the whole 75 because I was selling on the way up as it was moving up, so I didn't take the whole position 75 cents. Obviously I didn't do that. If you start selling quarters and quarters, you're gonna take 20 cents here, let's just make an example, 40 cents here, and then the other quarter you're gonna make 50 cents there, and then the next quarter you're gonna make 65 cents. So all together you're gonna have an average. But it was a decent trade for me. And then when this thing started to ramp up, we also saw with this pennant formation here on that reversal, when it started to have this accumulation right here. But prior to all of this, the next leg up that this thing had was very decent, based on the 5 minutes that it printed this bull flag formation here on this accumulation right here. The way to trade this formation will be to get in at the break of the prior 5 minute candle, when this 5 minute candle starts printing new heights over here in this one. So you have to wait for the first red candle and then the second one to print and close, and then when the third one starts to print new highs, then you can take your stab. Depending on your risk tolerance, you can give it a couple of cents over the high of the prior candle. In this case is 469. You could do 475 or whatever you think you feel comfortable with, because at the end of the day it's your risk tolerance. But he went to a high of 510 on this one, another 533, and then a high right here of 570. So he had a massive move this morning. This thing had a plunge, huge plunge. If you notice right here, had a hanging man on the 1 minute on this candle, huge reversal right here, and then the next one, another hanging man for a huge plunge from a high of 573 all the way to 493. So it was just a plunge of 473, 393, whatever, like 70 cents around there. And then he started to print this pennant flag formation for a follow-through move. We saw this like so clean when it was actually developing. And you know, I told you guys, hey, this is actually setting up. It had higher lows, but this thing is probably about to break under this thing, stopping it many times over. And then he had a, you know, this flush right here, also this little flag consolidation that you can also see around the 100 here for this another flush, and then a little bit of consolidation under the view app with this shooting star formation for a follow-through flush to come all the way down here to 387. You know, it's this thing is being having these moves today. As of right now, you can see how it's just hovering around the 50, coming up a little bit, but it's being something very interesting, very clean. If you see the 50 right here has been that little bit of support, about to tap that view app here. Let's see what it's gonna do, but it was very clean pattern today, very nice opportunity. I'm grateful for the time that it took, around 375, so I was able to go back and watch the daily shot because it started to come up. And what I saw on this thing was the Heiken-Ashi candles right out of the gates today, when it was showing that momentum right here, the second candle, and going back, you see this trend, this momentum going up right here. And so what the Heiken-Ashi candles do, and what they do is that they track the momentum. When I saw this thing ramping up, hitting that 375 right out of the gates today, I just went and I pulled that information right away, and I have it on a secondary window on another monitor right here on my right hand side. So I keep an eye on many stocks that might end up moving during the day. I want to make sure that I'm able to capitalize on opportunities that might come around during the day. So there's a reason why I keep different shots around and different formation, Heiken-Ashi candles, different things to make sure that I'm able to capitalize on the moves. For now, I want to thank you for you guys being here, and if you have any questions, if you have any chart that you want me to analyze for you, just place it in a comment on any of these videos, and I will most definitely make that video and upload it for you, so you can have the idea that I might be, or what I might be looking at on that particular stock. If you look at this thing from the open today, it went to a high here with 89%. It's just an amazing move today. I'm very grateful for this day. Happy Valentine's, by the way. Good Friday to close in this sense, and yesterday was a decent day also for me, so I'm grateful for that. For now, I'll let you guys go. Enjoy your weekend, enjoy the rest of your day, and happy trading, guys. I'll see you guys around later.